Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragon Age Inquisition. Where we last left off, we talked and talked and talked. And then we're going to talk some more.
Reports of fade rifts and demons keep coming. The people are terrified and it's only getting worse. The only thing that will calm their fears now is the hope that someone out there can save them. You have to be that someone. No one else has any power over the rifts. Seal them. Your legend will spread, and Thedas will learn to trust the Inquisition.
Why do you care?
Why do you want me to seek out the rebel mages? Why do you care?
I've known mages. Some of them were better people than me. And yet I'm free and they're not. It's not right.
Okay. Tell me about yourself.
Let's talk about you.
Me?
Yes. Tell me about your past.
What did you do before you worked for the Divine?
I was a bard, an Orlesian spy for many years. For a time I also served a small cloister in Lothering. After the Blight, the Divine called on me to oversee her personal network.
I be a bard?
Can you teach me to be a bard?
Being a bard is so much more than being a spy. It involves a keen understanding of politics, the ebb and flow of influence, the great game. The Bard's is an intricate dance where a smile can be sharper than any dagger. The best way to learn is to immerse yourself in it. Perhaps when this is all over, I'll teach you.
What if I make my smile into a dagger?
Bards tell tales. I bet you tell some good ones.
There are plenty of tales in the library. Perhaps you should look for them there.
Oh, fine!
I should leave you to your work.
We can always talk later. Yes?
Well connected.
You seem to know a great many people.
I have made friends, and on occasion enemies. It's unavoidable.
How do you know Joseph?
You seem to know Josephine quite well.
I met her a long time ago, but we didn't become good friends until years later. After the Blight, in fact. I'd just returned to Val Rayo, and she welcomed me back by throwing a diplomatic ball. She was the Antivan ambassador at the time, you see.
I see.
The ball was... alright. Too many politicians. At midnight, Josie and I left to find a real party. We've been friends ever since.
Oh, a real party, eh?
What do you consider a real party?
It's not a real party until someone's small clothes are pinned to a chantry board. And that's all I'm saying about it.
Small clothes? You mean things that are too small, or do you mean underwear?
You have a history with the Warden who ended the Blight,
Let's
don't
see
you?
if the thing's
He's
transferred
always
properly.
in my thoughts, even when we're far apart. My love is on a quest of his own. When the Inquisition has no further need of me, I will join him. For good this time. I have lost enough. I will not lose him as well.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much what happens.
They say you spent some time in Lothering. Did you know the champion?
We spoke a few times. I seldom left the Chantry, and we never became more than casual acquaintances. I saw more of the Hawk twins. Bethany in particular. She would spend time in meditation at the Chantry, and she seemed to like my stories. The other one, the young man, he was a little surly.
He was a dick.
I did encounter the champion again later in Kirkwall. Those were terrible times.
Was this when the Chantry was destroyed?
No, that happened later. But even then, the news coming out of Kirkwall was disheartening. There were some in Val Rayo who wanted the Divine to declare an exalted march on Kirkwall. Justina sent me there to see if that could be avoided, to gather evidence to calm those agitating for war. I guess it didn't matter in the end.
We can
Was
continue
worth
this
trying.
conversation later.
You know where I am.
I do. I'm going to keep talking to you.
Did you need something?
Yes.
They called you the left hand of the Divine.
That they did. What of it?
What is it?
What exactly does the left hand of the Divine do?
A Divine always has enemies, and Justinia had more than most. I protected her. I watched, had an ear to every door. I identified threats, and I dealt with them.
Okay.
Why did Justinia have so many enemies?
There were many who felt she was unfit to be divine. She had a past, a worldly life. Unlike many, she wasn't given to the Chantry as a child. She chose it, and somehow that made her unworthy. And because they thought she was unworthy, they wished her harm.
It sounds like you did some unscrupulous things as the left hand.
Perhaps, but wouldn't you do anything to protect what you love?
I have tried and I failed. Yeah, why don't you come with me?
I could use the left hand of the divine at my side out there.
Every agent out in the world is my eyes, my ears, my blade. Wherever my people are, I am also. Coming with you, leaving my post, would blind and bound me. Do you see?
I'm sure you would enjoy that.
What is the point of an Inquisition?
Justinia would have started the Inquisition if the Divine Conclave failed to restore peace. She hoped that with enough support, we could challenge the very tenets of the Chantry. She wanted the Chantry to treat the mages fairly. But sometimes I wonder, why stop at mages? The Chantry has committed many injustices. If we're going to change it, why not change the whole thing? It's just a thought. None of this will be possible if we fail.
I'm sorry she didn't live to see the Inquisition.
So am I.
Tell me about her.
I'd like to hear about Justinia. What was she like?
A friend. A mentor. Like me, she had secrets, made mistakes. It made her human. I think her followers responded to that.
How did you meet?
How did you and Justinia meet?
In the bar.
I met her a long time ago.
She was
before
wasted.
She became divine. Before she was Justinia. When I met her, she was Mother Dorothea. I was at my lowest. Broken. Lost. And she saved me. No, wait. She hates it when I say that. I saved myself. She just showed me it was possible.
Were you more than friends? Like, best friends?
Was there something more than friendship between you?
You're asking if we were lovers?
No.
Typical. I was devoted to her, therefore it must be romantic. Love is common. Love is simple.
Love is
My
not
bond
simple.
with Justinia was something greater. She was a sister, a mother, a teacher. So to answer your question, yes, it was more than friendship.
Alright.
We'll talk more later.
See ya, Leliana. Hello.
I didn't realise any of Leliana's Oxmen mercenaries were still here. Well, if you want new gear, you pay for it. Oh, you're her. Thrin. Inquisition
Oxmen.
Quartermaster. I'm doing what I can to supply this mess. If you find what I need to fill one of my requisitions, I'd appreciate you bringing it in.
What do you do here?
I make sure the Inquisition troops have food in their bellies and iron in their hands. Both are important. Lots of people expecting us to be heroes,
I'm actually
marching all day
can't
to
start to
fight the
grow to
demons.
like these horns.
Turns out
Maybe I'll
heroes need
keep
to
it.
dig latrines just like everyone else.
Because everyone else that I've seen that's played as Qunari always get the swept back horns. And although I like that, I would like to be a bit different to everyone else, so...
How does someone
I'll
end up
keep
as
'em.
quartermaster
Alright.
for the Inquisition?
I served for Eldon under Ten Loghain MacTier, best commanding officer this world has ever seen. After they all turned on him at Denerim, though, there wasn't much use for people who held that opinion. Queen Honora offered my services to the Inquisition. It was a kindness. She knew I supported her father and got me away from the political garbage.
I bet if Alistair did it, you would say that it was just to get you out the way.
With that attitude, I can't imagine how you made enemies in Denerim.
People just don't want to hear the truth. I was at Ostagar, and I know what really happened. King Kaelan overextended his position, and the Grey Wardens were too late lighting the signal. Following the original plan would have gotten everyone killed. Ten Loghain made the right decision. I apologise. Sister Leliana told me I shouldn't talk about this. Just forget it.
How do I fill special orders?
If I have material for a special order, do I bring it to you?
Just take it over there. One of my boys will take the materials or jot down what you found.
What did you mean when you mentioned requisitions?
I'm making this Inquisition run with what we have, but we're not a real army. We're stretched thin on materials. So I've put up a requisition list for anything that could help our people. Here, Take a look. You find some iron and a good logging site. Maybe Harriet can get our troops better weapons.
Cool.
Farewell.
Make her go with you.
I would like to see that though. Actually see the soldiers using cheap weapons like farmer tools. And then when we buy this, we actually see them using like decent gear. I'm missing a logging stand, but
Thanks for
luckily
checking anyway.
there is something around here that we could use, but we're not there yet. So let's have a look around. Always check behind the houses because there's okay, because there's always something behind houses. Yep. What's that? Okay, and here we go. Day 2, post normal, breathing normal, still unresponsive, careful drop feed of prep. Elf fruit extract to hasten her recovery, a lot of thrashing, mutters about too many eyes, something about the grey, encouraging.
Fliss said to check with you to make sure these are safe to serve.
They're fine. Nobody will take sick as long as she boils them right. Smart woman for asking, though.
Hello.
Look who's back from the dead. Again. I shouldn't be surprised. You Oxmen are tough as old leather.
We've met.
I don't recall meeting you before.
I'd be surprised if you did. You weren't particularly coherent. Someone had to patch you up after you staggered out of making those wear, though. So, you're welcome.
Oh. Thanks.
I didn't realize. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you can pay me back by fixing the world. Name's Adan. I'm in charge of keeping our little band here stocked with potions and elixirs.
Hello.
Not that
Bye-bye.
Seeker Pentagast seems to care whether we've got the supplies to actually do that.
Okay.
For a healer, you don't seem particularly nurturing.
I'm not a healer. I'm an alchemist who's forced to play Mother Hen. You want something to burst into flame on contact with the air? Done. Gladly. Patching up wounded soldiers is a waste of my time and talents. But there are a few around who can help.
How are things?
How are your people holding up?
There's no shortage of work. That's for damn sure.
Need any help?
Is there anything I can do to help out?
We're fine as far as raw labor goes. You've more important things to do than tend to me. I only wish I'd been able to find Master Tajin's notes. Old bastard was working on something special. He died at the Conclave, and his notes weren't here. Been too busy dealing with the wounded to look for them.
Okay. How do I order potions?
How do I go about having potions made?
Just take a look there and tell me what you'd like. Find a recipe for something better, I can make that too.
Okay. No, wrong one. There we go. Generation potion. Replenish, Y to restore entire pack. Done.
Just right.
You can also upgrade them, which I will do, because I cannot afford it. Okay, never mind. I can't afford this either. Well then. It was, at least I wanted to. Randy Dowager worked with the Cooler Warden, blah 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 blah. The lady herself says enchanting one supports the circle if only because the closed doors offers the imagination or 3 scars fluttered in shock out of 5. I have no idea what it was trying to say. Here. No. Okay, we'll talk to Solas now. I'm going to save every time it goes into a conversation cutscene because the game will probably crash.
The chosen of Andraste, a blessed hero sent to save us all.
I'm not a hero.
I've no interest in being a hero. All I want is to find a way to seal this breach.
Pragmatic, but ultimately irrelevant. I've journeyed deep into the Fade in ancient ruins and battlefields to see the dreams of lost civilizations. I've watched as hosts of spirits clash to reenact the bloody past in ancient wars both famous and forgotten. Every great war has its heroes. I'm just curious what kind you'll be.
What do you mean, ruins and battlefields?
Any building strong enough to withstand the rigors of time has a history. Every battlefield is steeped in death. Both attract spirits. They press against the veil, weakening the barrier between our worlds. When I dream in such places, I go deep into the Fade. I can find memories no other living being has ever seen.
Your head is shiny.
You fall asleep in the middle of ancient ruins? Isn't that dangerous?
I do set wards. And if you leave food out for the giant spiders, they are usually content to live and let live.
Yeah, it's impressive, I guess.
I've never heard of anyone going so far into the Fade. That's extraordinary.
Thank you. It's not a common field of study for obvious reasons. Not so flashy as throwing fire or lightning. The thrill of finding remnants of a 1,000-year-old dream? I would not trade it for anything. I will stay there. At least until the breach has been closed.
Was that in doubt?
I am an apostate mage surrounded by chantry forces, and unlike you, I do not have a divine mark protecting me. Cassandra has been accommodating, but you understand my caution.
I guess Cassandra won't let anything because you have been helpful so far.
Cassandra trusts you. She won't let anyone put you into a circle against your will.
Thank you. I appreciate the thought. But now let us hope either the mages or the Templars have the power to seal the breach.
Time to talk.
Closing the breach is our primary goal. But I hope we might also discover what was used to create it. Any artifact of such power is dangerous. The destruction of the Conclave proves that much.
You don't think whatever created the explosion was destroyed in the blast?
You survived, did you not? The artifact that created the breach is unlike anything seen in this age. I will not believe it destroyed until I see the shattered fragments with my own eyes.
Yeah, it might be useful to find out what it is so we can stop it next time.
We would do well to try to recover whatever created the breach.
Leliana's people have scoured the area near the blast and found nothing. Whatever the artifact was, it is no longer there. In any case, did you need me for anything?
Tell me about yourself.
I'd like to know more about you, Solas.
Why?
I guess I respect you, I guess.
You're an apostate, yet you risked your freedom to help the Inquisition.
Not the wisest course of action when framed that way.
I appreciate the work you're doing, Solas. I just wanted to know more about you.
I am sorry. With so much fear in the air. What would you know of me?
Why are you bold? What have you studied?
You said you'd traveled to many different places.
This world, or its memory, is reflected in the Fade. Dream in ancient ruins, and you may see a city lost to history. Some of my fondest memories were found in crumbling cities, long picked dry by treasure seekers, the best of the battlefields. Spirits press so tightly on the veil that you can slip across with but a thought.
Any place in particular?
I dreamt at Ostagar. I witnessed the brutality of the Darkspawn and the valor of the Ferelden warriors. I saw Alistair and the hero Ferelden light the signaled fire, and Logain's infamous betrayal of Caelan's forces.
I've heard the stories. It would be interesting to hear what it was really like.
That's just it. In the Fade, I see reflections created by spirits who react to the emotions of the warriors. One moment, I see heroic wardens lighting the fire and a power-mad villain sneering as he lets King Caelan fall. The next, I see an army overwhelmed and a veteran commander refusing to let more soldiers die in a lost cause.
And you can't tell which is real?
It is the Fade. They are all real.
But with anyone?
Have you always traveled and studied alone?
Not at all. I have built many lasting friendships. Spirits of wisdom, possessed of ancient knowledge, happy to share what they had seen. Spirits of purpose helped me search. Even wisps, curious and playful, would point out treasures I might have missed.
I don't know of any spirits by those names.
They rarely seek this world. When they do, their natures do not often survive exposure to the people they encounter. Wisdom and purpose are too easily twisted to pride and desire.
You're saying that you became friends with pride and desire demons?
They were not demons for me.
Meaning?
The Fade reflects the minds of the living. If you expect a spirit of wisdom to be a pride demon, it will adapt. And if your mind is free of corrupting influences, if you understand the nature of the spirit, they can be fast friends.
So they're influenced by emotions and thought, was what you're saying?
I'm impressed that you could become friends with spirits.
Anyone who can dream has the potential. Few ever try. My friends comforted me in grief and shared my joy. Yet, because they exist without form, as we understand it, the Chantry declares that spirits are not truly people. Is Cassandra defined by her cheekbones and not her faith? Varric by his chest hair and not his wit?
I wouldn't say they don't exist.
I hadn't thought about it that way, but I see your point.
Thank you. Few are willing to entertain such a notion.
What made you start studying the Fade?
I grew up in a village to the north. There was little to interest a young man, especially one gifted with magic. But as I slept, spirits of the Fade showed me glimpses of wonders I had never imagined. I treasured my dreams. Being awake, out of the Fade, became troublesome.
Did spirits try to tempt you?
No more than a brightly colored fruit is deliberately tempting you to eat it. I learned how to defend myself from more aggressive spirits and how to interact safely with the rest. I learned how to control my dreams with full consciousness. There was so much I wanted to explore.
You're a dreamer.
I gather you didn't spend your entire life dreaming.
No. Eventually, I was unable to find new areas in the Fade.
Why?
2 reasons. First, the Fade reflects the world around it. Unless I traveled, I would never find anything new. Second, the Fade reflects and is limited by our imaginations. To find interesting areas, one must be interesting.
Is this why you joined the Inquisition?
I joined the Inquisition because we were all in terrible danger. If our enemies destroyed the world, I would have nowhere to lay my head while dreaming of the Fade.
I wish you luck.
Thank you. In truth, I've enjoyed experiencing more of life to find more of the Fade.
How so?
You train your will to control magic and withstand possession. Your indomitable focus is an enjoyable side benefit. You have chosen a path whose steps you do not dislike because it leads to a destination you enjoy. As have I.
Alright,
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
one more chat.
Greetings.
What do you know about the Fade?
A great deal from my wanderings. There are few hard facts, but I can share what I have learned.
Okay, tell me about the demons.
I'd like to know more about demons.
The Chantry says that demons hate the natural world and seek to bring their chaos and destruction to the living. But such simplistic labels misconstrue their motivations, and in so doing, do all a great disservice. Spirits wish to join the living, and a demon is that wish gone wrong.
Is there a way to coexist? To live with them, if not in peace, at least without such active confrontation?
Not in the world we know today. The veil creates a barrier that makes true understanding most unlikely.
What if we
But
remove
the question
that,
is a
then?
good one, and it matters that you thought
Well,
to ask.
What's happening is probably what happens. Everything goes all tits up. Tell me about the veil.
I'd like to know more about the Veil.
Circle mages call it a barrier between this world and the Fade, but according to my studies in ancient elven lore, that is a vast oversimplification. Without it, imagine if spirits entered freely. The Fade was not a place one went, but a state of nature like the wind.
Sounds cool.
It sounds like it would be wonderful.
And dangerous. But yes, a world where imagination defines reality, where spirits are as common as trees or grass.
Sounds
Instead, spirits are strange and fearful, and the Fade is a terrifying world touched only by mages and dreamers. I am glad that I'm not alone in seeing the beauty of such a world, along with the obvious peril.
What about the breach?
I'd like to know more about the breach.
Simply put, it is a tear in the veil between this world and the Fade, allowing spirits to enter the world physically. Small tears occur naturally when magic weakens the veil, or when spirits cluster at an area that has seen many deaths. But your mark allows you to exert some control over the breach. That means it was created deliberately.
We'll
Okay.
talk later.
Goodbye.
Bye, Solas. Now we can continue on into the tavern after going behind it.
consider anything.
You said there used to be a place about your health. And how much did you need?
So the prospects. As always, you can pause and read. Josephine is ready to report in. Other birds. Little bird. Near his heart. Left back of his chest. It's whole again. Elf fruit and iron.
And how much did you need?
10 sacks to do it.
Is there any way you could get by with 6?
If you only have 6, why did you ask how much I needed?
I was really hoping you only needed 6.
Well, Maker, you're here. You're the Herald of Andraste. And you were sent to test us, to see whether we would accept a Cunari as Andraste's chosen. I think everyone is worthy of love. The Maker just makes some of us larger and greyer than others. And, I mean, I'm Flissa. Can I get you a drink?
Huh? It must make you nervous, I guess.
You haven't met many Kunari before, have you?
No. You'd be the first. As I said, I'm Flissa. The Inquisition soldiers needed a place to unwind, so Leliana brought me in to set up a tavern. Nothing fancy, but it's safer for the soldiers than looking for trouble in some village.
How do you know her?
You said Leliana asked you to run an Inquisition tavern. How did you meet?
Dumb luck, mainly. I managed an inn back in Denerim. When I heard interesting gossip, I'd pass word to Leliana. Sometimes it was helpful. She asked if I wanted to own my own tavern, and I said yes. I didn't realize she meant this.
What can you tell me about this area?
Adan is Haven's apothecary. He's been making potions and tending to the wounded as best he can. Harrit is the Inquisition smith. Whatever he can't make you, Thren the quartermaster can probably find. And for anything fancier, you can try buying from Segrit. His prices aren't too high. Yet. Oh, there's also Minave. She studies beasts and things, as I understand.
Things sound good.
Farewell.
Goodbye.
Bye. Well, all this talking. And we're still not finished yet. We then need to talk to Varric, who's just ahead. Find out if the other part of the, you know, the keep transferred successfully. So we'll stop here, seeing as we've only got a couple minutes left, and it'll probably take a while to talk to him. So until then, this is Majorshepard, and I shall see you in the next talking episode. Until then, bye bye.